this video, I think we're going to do gasoline trucks versus diesel trucks, okay? So, the big argument always is, from one side, it's like, oh, if it's a gas truck, it ain't a truck, you know, you need a diesel to tow. And the other argument is, well, my half-ton can tow 12,000 pounds or whatever, I don't need a diesel. You know, another argument is, you know, diesels are so expensive to work on, diesels are so expensive to drive, blah, 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 blah. So why not make a video talking about them? So we'll talk about them in stock form. In stock form, a 2015 Cummins can get, with emissions, 20 to 23 on the highway, let's say it's 70 miles an hour. Okay? A 2015 Ram Hemi, one that can tow, is going to get 16 maybe on the highway. So, like, oh yeah, wow, the diesel's so much better. Well, yes and no. It is, but typically diesel costs more. In the end, it usually evens out. Okay, so fuel, when driving normal, evens out. Okay, next step, towing. Diesels get significantly better fuel mileage while towing compared to a gas truck at the same RPM, or at the same fuel. So again, at the same miles. So, again, based on fuel prices, that also becomes a wash. So fuel, pretty much across the board, is a wash. Okay, towing. If you tow heavy frequently, or if you tow just in general frequently, a diesel is going to last longer. Gas trucks, whether they're rated to tow or not, are not meant for the abuse of constantly pulling trailers. So towing constantly, you are looking at a diesel or a heavy-duty gas truck. Now, when you switch over to a heavy-duty gas truck, the fuel mileage takes a hit even more. So typically, the diesels actually do win out in the long run versus a heavy-duty gas truck. Okay, maintenance. Maintenance. By maintenance, we are talking about changing the oil, fuel filters, things like that. Gas truck, 3,000 to 5,000 miles, change the oil. Diesel truck, depending on the owner, 5,000 to 10,000 miles. Price of diesel oil change is almost double the price of a gas change. But if you go 10,000 miles and the gas truck goes 5,000 miles, it evens out. But it also means you don't spend as much time changing the oil. Fuel filters, well, gas trucks don't have them, so diesel takes a hit on the fuel filters. You shop around, you can do a fuel filter change for about $60 on a Cummins of the years that we're talking about. Okay, let's see, that was maintenance. Okay, emissions related, DEF. Diesel trucks take DEF. So again, diesels take the hit on that because when pulling, you go through a lot more DEF. When you're not pulling and the emissions equipment is working properly, you don't go through a lot of DEF, but gas trucks don't have DEF. Now, next thing, repairs. In the long run, over identical wear and tear miles, a gas truck will need more repairs. Hemis, MDS lifters, that's a very expensive repair. Chevys, DOD lifters, again, also a very expensive repair. I've had two Duramax trucks and 6 Cummins trucks now. The Cummins trucks, the ones that were stock or deleted, the only thing I had to replace was the water pump, but it ended up being a recall anyway. I've actually never even put ball joints on the front ends of any of my Cummins trucks yet, which for some people, they'll think that's mind-blowing, but, you know, I mean, I've put 50,000 miles on this Cummins since February. Gas trucks. Again, the lifter failures. If it's a Chevy, you got a lot of front-end issues with the independent front end. I'm trying to really think if there's really any major repair. Spark plugs, coils, fuel pumps are pretty common on gas trucks. So repairs, if the same part was to break on both vehicles, the diesel will be more expensive. Okay. Okay, so if the tranny goes out, the diesel tranny is going to cost more than the gas tranny. So honestly, on repairs, I'm going to say it breaks even. I have found that diesel trucks break less than gas trucks do. So I guess that might be up to speculation. My Duramaxes, they constantly went through thermostats, they constantly went through water pumps, they constantly went through fuel pressure regulators, they had injector issues. So an older Duramax is definitely not the way to go. But most of us are talking about newer trucks. Okay, now power, overall drivability. Sorry, I gotta fix something right now. Power and overall drivability. Okay, one of the things you're gonna run into with new age diesels, and I'm sorry if it's making noise. This is my dually, so it's not happy right now with all these bumps. So diesel trucks, most diesel trucks stock have a VGT turbo. VGT turbos change the geometry of the vanes in order to give you, honestly, it makes it so you either have a small turbo, a big turbo, medium turbo. It's awesome. You take off from a stoplight, you always have power, okay? Gas trucks, not so much. Especially you start putting big wheels and tires on them and things like that. It starts bogging them down. They don't like hills as much. They're shifting all the time. That's another thing. Diesels don't shift almost ever when you're on the highway. I can have 18,000 pounds behind my truck and it might shift when I'm going up a big hill. That's it. So gas trucks, they get a little annoying while towing. Shift up, shift down, shift up, shift down. Now, like right now, I'm in Amarillo, Texas, where it's super windy. My 19 Ram, when it was a heavy wind, it would cause it to drop out of 8th gear into 7th, sometimes even 6th gear, and then it wouldn't go back into overdrive because there was such a resistance of wind that the engine was putting like 50% load, so it wouldn't let me go to the next gear. Overall, driving around, I find that diesel trucks, because of the power and the power band, are easier to drive, and I think they're funner to drive. And I've had both. I love my 19 Ram half ton. Absolutely love it. The 8-speed transmission is amazing. The power is amazing. Just with a tune, we're up 30 horse over stock, and it's an amazing truck to drive. But it's more of a car than a truck. Now, deletes. When you delete a diesel, you also make it slightly less reliable, but you gain a crap load of power. Right now, I'm running 180 horsepower delete all the time. It doesn't matter if I'm pulling or not. I keep it at 180 horse. My truck is bone stock besides the tune and delete. It's a dually. It's got 35s on it. I've got 50,000 miles on 180 horsepower tune. I don't have issues. Change the tranny fluid and have solid tuning, and that's the way to go. I still get 20 miles per gallon on the highway, but I'm 180 horsepower more than stock. Now, tuning a gas engine, you're 30 to 35 horsepower. You can change the shift points. You can make them drive better. You can make them pull better. But you can even get a little bit better gas mileage. But it's not as significant as the diesel. This dually at 520 horse at the wheels, from a dead stop, I can take 80% of the vehicles on the road. Obviously the faster vehicles catch up really fast. I only get them off the line. So the overall thing is, ignore maintenance, ignore repair costs, ignore fuel. A lot of that stuff, if you drive like an adult, will be completely even in the long run. You need to look at overall what you're doing with your truck. You pull a boat once in a while, you pull a small utility trailer once in a while, you're going to take a U-Haul across country once in a while. Your gas truck is probably the better option, because if something does happen, it will be cheaper, and since you're not towing all the time, stuff actually evens out more in your side for the gas truck. If at any point you were going to tow a medium amount, a gas heavy duty truck becomes the next option. Now, if you're going to tow heavy at all, it is safer and easier to pull with a diesel. Now, with that being said, I have a 24-foot all aluminum enclosed trailer that I pulled with my 19 Ram half-ton. It got 6 miles per gallon at 70 miles an hour. That same trailer only got 11 miles per gallon on my Cummins. Okay, but here's the thing. My Cummins, I could bump it up to 80 on the highway, hit cruise, and you could basically sleep while driving. That's how smooth it pulled. My half-ton, shift, wind pulling it all over the place. My half-ton is less than 5,000 pounds. This Cummins is 8,000 pounds. So it's safer and more reliable to pull with. At the end of the day, the decision becomes yours on what you want to do. But at the end of the day, me personally, the diesel's always the better truck. Now, when you get into performance and you want to go fast, diesels start getting pricey. My 800 horsepower Cummins that I had, if you remove me building transmissions multiple times, I was like 40 to 50 grand into it to be 800 horse reliable to the wheels. A gas truck, I can make a hell of a lot more than 800 horse at $50,000. So keep that in mind. That's the video. I don't know if it's going to be controversial or not, but hopefully it helps some people out.